Awesome. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining on today's community health seminar topic. Today, we're going to be talking about staying grounded, recovery tips through the holiday season. We have a wonderful expert panel here tonight. We have Nicole Stafford, who is from Aviva Health. She is a outpatient behavioral health provider. We have Mike Sidrian, who is our ADAPT's Crossroad residential counselor. We have Jesse Spain, who's the Douglas County Regional Director from Pain and Horse Recovery. And we have Bethany Galli, who's from our Grants Pass SUD team here at Adapt Integrated Healthcare. So thank you so much for being here today.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you.
We will be going through various tips throughout our presentation today. At the end of our seminar, we will open it up for Q&A for y'all to ask our panelists questions. All right, Mike, we will start with you. Thank you.
Awesome. Let's get started. There we go. All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. I want to just say thank you to Summer for asking me to do this topic. When she asked me to do that, I was like, heck yeah, I would love to talk about this. I already teach my clients and I go over this every year. This is definitely a topic that we can talk about for a long time, but short on time, we're going to get through some stuff pretty quickly here. So let's get into it. All right, am I there? Okay. Uh-oh. Hold on, I gotta go back one. Sorry about that. All right. The holidays can be stressful enough, but especially with people in recovery, we have added stressors. We can definitely jeopardize our recovery by these stressors. And I would like to give you some examples of some of the added stressors that we have. So the first one here I have is family-related stress. This is huge. Family can be a leading cause to relapse or continue use. So one of the first ones here is unresolved conflicts and past resentments, the pressure to act normal or hide our feelings, going around people that make us mad. That could be one of the ones that continue to have stress onto us and cause us to relapse. And talking about like it just being super uncomfortable. So being around family members who drink or use, especially in early recovery, I don't know about you, but I would not be able to do this. Let's go on to the next one. So the emotional and mental health stress. So feeling lonely or feeling disconnected. I remember during this time, everybody seemed happy, during the holiday time. But during that time, for me, especially, I was not. I was really having a hard time with that. So, increased depression, anxiety, or seasonal affective symptoms. Again, I had so much going on around me that I just feel anxious. And especially like with the weather turning and the way that it's getting rainy and cold out there, that could add to our depression. Emotional overwhelm, feeling pressured to be happy even when struggling. Recovery can take a while to get back on track. So just, we need to find our peace. So just having an idea that that's what happens, we can really still be feeling, emotional that way. So the next thing is social pressure. This one gets deep, especially for us in recovery. So being offered alcohol or substances at gatherings, trying to explain why we're not drinking. Uh, I avoided social events or visiting with friends because I knew that they drank or they were smoking marijuana or something like that. So I avoided them altogether. Um, you could come up with like some rehearsed statements, especially when you're trying to explain why you're not drinking. One that I like to use was, I don't drink, I'm allergic. And it pause and I'd say, I break out in handcuffs. And it kind of just broke the ice in that. So that was one for me. It was I still use it and I get laughs from it, But really, I'm just not trying to drink. So, but it's a little socially awkward if I'm not if I have to explain it all the time. The other one is feeling different or left out by choosing sobriety. There's tons of things that you can do during the holiday, but being around other people that are in sobriety will help you during this time. Or feeling obligated to buy gifts, or the fear of disappointing others if you can't afford much. Spending time should be enough, but there's nothing wrong with like regifting or looking around the house for something that you can wrap up to take to a a party. It shouldn't have to be about spending money. It should be about spending time. All right. Triggers and temptations. Seeing old friends who still use. If that happens, my advice would be keep it short and move on. Returning to old environments tied to drinking or using. The stress could be going back to your own hometown or neighborhood, but when possible, we should just avoid that altogether. And then just one drink thinking. I know for me personally, I couldn't just have one because one turns into one after another. Relationship stress. So feeling pressured to reconnect with unhealthy people. Harder when it's your family, but not or it could be really hard to avoid if it's your family, but really just trying to stay away from those unhealthy people altogether. Trying to balance multiple relationships, family dynamics. I think that's typical in any relationship. Trying to split the family. Like, where do we go? Do we go to your parents' house? We go to my parents' house. That could be stressful in itself. And then contact from past partners. This one I would just say block them. There's no and move on. There's no reason to add that stress into the holidays. If people are reaching out that you don't want to talk to, block them. There's nothing wrong with that. Expectations and comparisons. So comparing your life to others, feeling behind or not good enough. I don't know that, I think that has a lot to do with social media and comparing ourselves. We're on there, we're scrolling, we're seeing people that have the tree with all the presents. It's not about that, guys. It's really just, spending time with our family and our loved ones. It shouldn't be how many gifts you're getting them. But that social media can really do that to you. And pressure to create a perfect holiday. Uh, It really is that, I mean, we see that over and over, and it really, really can add a lot of stress to make it perfect. And we're not going for perfect. We're trying to find our peace. We're trying to spend time with our family. And worrying you won't meet others' expectations. That's okay. We're not there, to sit there and measure up all the time, Um, but with all these stressors, we what can we do? Well, we can start by setting some healthy boundaries. So boundaries. By setting boundaries, we teach people how to treat us. Not only how to treat us, but what we are going to accept. So to set clear boundaries before the event, some examples. I can stay for only 2 hours, no alcohol at dinner. But remember, just because that you're in recovery doesn't mean that they are. So during this time, we got to be bringing our own drinks and understanding that we are responsible for what we put in our bodies. Have an exit plan. Drive yourself or attend with a sober support person if possible. That's a really good one. I think a lot of times we think about, going it alone, but we have people. We have a lot of people, and who wouldn't love to go have dinner? So see I mean, if it's possible, let's make that happen. Limit the conversation with triggering family members or set off-limit topics such as bringing up the past or unresolved conflicts. I love that. Um, and I wrote it there. The dinner table is not the place for those conversations. So we need to protect ourselves going into this, knowing that we have conflicts with family members. Like, how are we going to navigate that? And during that time, we might need to ask the family member or a friend to step in to help guide that conversation. Because if we haven't seen them in a while, they may start asking, "Oh, how's it going? What's going on? What are you doing?" but we got to keep that light because that conversation can steer to the wrong way, and we can end up having a fight or feeling, some type of way, which will cause the relapse. All right, so now that we set some boundaries, let's talk about coping skills and what we can use. Did I go too far? Oh, coping skills. Practice deep breathing, box breathing, 4, 7, 8. So box breathing is 4 in, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. Another one, if you can't remember the 4, 7, 8 for box breathing, I love the short one. It's 2 short ones in through the nose and out through the mouth. That one's pretty easy. I just learned that one, and that one seems to be quick and easy because when I'm stressed, I might not have time to 4, 7, 8 if I can practice it. It takes time and it does get easier, but 2 in through the nose, 1 out through the mouth. Practice the urge surfing. So cravings may come on like a wave, and it's going to be strong, right? But just level it out. Learn how to try to find grounding yourself, and it will level out. Your craving will spike, but then it will level out in time. And with that going on, step outside. If the environment becomes overwhelming, go outside, get a breath. I don't know if you smoke cigarettes. Me personally, I don't smoke cigarettes, but that might be a time that for you to step out and just, take a break. Here's another really good one. Schedule time with sponsor accountability partner and use your phone list. I like this one because if we schedule time with our accountability partner or our sponsor, it also gives them time to check in with us. So maybe I'm feeling overwhelmed and I can't get out, but then they're going to call me and check in on me. So that is very important to have something like that so someone can check in to see how we're doing. Have a list of meetings for in the area. Usually AA and NA have longer meetings and more availability. And I'm not sure, I'm sure Jesse will tell you during this time because they run meetings. I'm sure that they have like a meeting all day. So have a list of that and know that you can fall back on that. Uh, Keep a gratitude list in your pocket. It helps to remember why we are staying sober. Pull it out. Write it down on there. I want to stay sober. I'm working towards this. And just know it's a process, but having a gratitude list in your pocket really helps. So with all of that, now you made it. You survived the event. I had all this stuff planned and I had these coping skills. I set these boundaries. But now what? Time to process. There's a lot of feelings and such that goes on during that time. So journal this. We're talking about the next day. So we could journal, write down what went well, what felt stressful, review your relapse prevention plan. If anything triggered you, what helped and what could you have done differently? Schedule time with your sponsor or your therapist because all those feelings, guys, are going to come up and we got to really talk about that. Sitting there and just stewing in it. Oh, my brother said this or my mother said that or however that it is, it can really just start running rampant in there. Go to a meeting in person or online, whatever helps you. Self-care. I like this. We got to make time for self-care, guys. So watch something funny, something calming. We want to bring our senses down. Listen to some soothing music, light a candle, some essential oils, and spend a moment in quiet reflection or meditation. There's nothing wrong with putting the phone down for a while and really just recenter. Try to go outside, put your feet in the grass, ground yourself and give yourself some positive affirmations. Because what we do when we give ourselves positive affirmations, we're giving ourselves compliments and it rewires our brain. It definitely does rewire our brain. So I put one quote there. I survived the holiday with grace and honesty. I honor the progress I made. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. I really appreciate you and the time. Up next, we have Nicole Stafford from Aviva Health.
So this is my first time presenting for a session, so this will be great. Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to talk about, let's see if I can get this to advance. It's not wanting to move. Just a second. I don't know why it's not- oh, here we go. Got it. We're going to be talking about redefining celebration and joy in recovery and the power of gratitude. So, Mike, thank you for already touching on the importance and power of gratitude. So, there's so many things to be grateful for, and sometimes it's all about building up that muscle and that lens to see the things that are just right in front of us. And the more we see, the more we can see in the future. So, if we build on our strengths, it makes it easier for us. So, exploring how to create new substance-free traditions that still feel meaningful and fun. How can we do that? We're going to create substance-free traditions that are focused on shared experiences like personal growth and genuine connection that involve everyone in planning and prioritizing the activities that promote well-being. So, get your family involved. If your family or your friends or your support, then I want to encourage you to rally them together, talk to them openly, and just tell them, hey, I'm really wanting to create a new tradition this year. And I want to involve you in creating healthier traditions and traditions that aren't based on substances or substance use or drinking. And can you help me brainstorm? Because I would love for you to participate as well. And then focus on those activities and not substances. So plan events that are centered around engaging activities rather than drinking or drug use. This shifts the focus from avoiding substances to enjoying positive experiences. And then prioritize wellness and self-care. Integrate self-care practices into your routine, such as mindfulness, exercise, and healthy eating. These activities will help you in your mental and physical health and make sober fun more fulfilling. And it'll make it last longer too. So be flexible and intentional. Let go of old traditions and plan new ones with purpose. So, and then while you're promoting your well-being, you can do that with not only your well-being, but the well-being of your family. So encourage you to involve your family in that as well and practice activities that you can do together. Maybe take a family walk if you have family, or if you have children, start a gratitude jar. There's a really good gratitude jar activity that I suggest on therapistaid.com. And it has you take a jar and then your kids put things in that they're grateful for. And then you discuss those things and you share openly things that you're thankful for. Want to also encourage you to be flexible and intentional. Understand that traditions can evolve. Be flexible and willing to try new things until you find what works best for you and your loved ones. And continue to connect with your support networks, whether they're sober meetup groups, recovery meetings, trusted friends and family. Shared experiences with like-minded people strengthen your resolve and provide encouragement. So remind yourself of who your tribe is. So be intentional about it, guys. And that whenever we're intentional and we give things a fair try, I think we get a lot more out of it in the end. So that's my encouragement to you. There's a new tradition just waiting just around the bend. You just haven't found it yet. Okay. And then shift your thinking from deprivation to empowerment. Celebrate recovery milestones during the holidays. Acknowledge the milestones by simply reaching a recovery milestone, whether it's 1 week or 1 month, a year or longer. It's a significant accomplishment that deserves recognition. And you can not only celebrate your milestones, but the milestones of those around you. And then plan special sober activities. Organize activities that align with your recovery journey and bring genuine joy. This could be a special meal with supportive friends and family, attending a celebratory holiday event tailored for the recovery community, or a peaceful nature walk. These events can foster community and reinforce positive, sober routines. I know that the Celebrate Recovery in Roseburg ends up having, I think it's like a Thanksgiving dinner every year. And so that might be a new tradition that you might want to try out this year. I don't know. Share your journey if you're comfortable. Sharing your story with trusted friends and family can reinforce your progress, build a stronger support system. This can be empowering for both you and those around you. I think it also kind of creates a accountability in a way and like a cheering squad. So practice self-care rituals. Use the holidays as an opportunity to prioritize your self-care. So engage in activities that promote well-being, such as mindful meditation, exercise, or creative hobbies. It could just be coloring. It could be doing a puzzle. There's no limit to what self-care can be. I actually encourage people to think of self-care as budgeting and living on a budget, because we don't often think about how we don't provide cushion for ourselves in our financial areas. And when we do that, we give ourselves more spoons and more energy and less stress to enjoy the things in our life that are worth enjoying. So set new goals. The holidays and the transition to a new year offer an excellent time to set future goals and life goals. This forward-looking perspective emphasizes growth and potential rather than focusing on past struggles. Give back to the community. Help others by incredibly empowering, and it can be incredibly empowering, fulfilling. So like where I'm from up in Washington, they do like a turkey dinner every year for the community, and it's free. And the people that contribute to that get more out of it than the people that are coming to eat the dinner. It's amazing. So look for opportunities like that. Develop that lens in your life. And then gratitude. Practices that enhance emotional resilience. The more we practice gratitude, the more resilient we are. Grateful people are better able to bounce back from setbacks by seeing the bigger picture and seeking social support. Regularly practicing gratitude can strengthen the areas of the brain associated with joy, empathy, and peace, while reducing the activity and the pathways linked to fear and anxiety. So it's like a twofer on that one. So not only are you strengthening joy and empathy and peace, you're reducing activities or highways to fear and anxiety. And then expressing gratitude has been shown to significantly increase your happiness, with some studies showing benefits that last over a month. That's amazing. So commit to a daily gratitude practice to reduce negative emotions and provide a natural stress detox for your mind and body. Studies on gratitude appreciation found that participants experienced a reduction in cortisol, which is your stress hormones, and had better cardiac function just from practicing gratitude. So it's not only it's good for your brain, it's good for your heart. It's better than what they put on the cereal boxes nowadays. So a grateful attitude can help individuals attain acceptance and become less fearful of the future. And then by consciously practicing gratitude, you can disrupt negative thought loops and redirect your brain to a more positive, regulated state. And over time, this practice will rewire your neural pathways, making the shift from anxiety to gratitude easier and faster. It's like you're adding extra lanes on that super highway in your brain and embracing neuroplasticity. And that is the biggest flex of them all, I think personally. So, and then we also need to consider the role of nutrition, sleep, and physical health. So understanding that physiological link between nutrition, mood, and craving regulation. So in recovery, nutrition is a critical tool for healing the brain, the body, and stabilizing mood and managing cravings as you navigate a substance-free lifestyle. So brain restoration is really one of the important things. So a healthy diet provides the essential nutrients needed to repair your brain pathways damaged by substance use. They've actually done studies on omega-3s and omega-6s, and specifically fish oil for alcoholics and how it is one of the most helpful things in stabilizing a brain that has been, hurt by alcohol use. So if you have a past history of alcohol use, I strongly encourage you consult with your nutritionist, but consider a really high quality fish oil. It resets that pleasure center in your brain, and no longer is alcohol the top thing. Normal life things are going to be the top most enjoyable things in your life again, just by adding fish oil. So, healthy nutrition also provides mood stabilization. So it balances your blood sugar and supports neurotransmitter production. It helps manage emotional regulation and reduce the risk of relapse due to mood swings. It also helps with your craving management. So understanding the physiological drivers behind cravings like blood sugar dips, don't get hangry, gut imbalances. This empowers you to use nutrition as a management tool. So there's another muscle to build. And then I have some hot tips for sleep. Don't underestimate the power of sleep. Don't sleep on this one. This is a video you guys can watch, and I just pulled it up here. We don't have time to watch it today, but it's on progressive muscle relaxation. If you do this video before bed, I'll put it out there. Like, I will buy you a drink. If you don't, I'll buy you a coffee drink if you don't fall asleep and have a really good night's sleep that night. If you try this video, it's 9 minutes and 5 seconds long, and it walks you through deep breathing and progressively relaxing your body so that you melt into your pillow and melt into your bed. So check it out. The lady's voice is almost hypnotic in a good way. So, and then don't forget to integrate movement, meal planning, and rest into your recovery routine. So make sure that you're intentional in your planning, flexible and adaptable. So adjust the plan when conflicts arise without abandoning the routine, and commit to self-care. View these as essential recovery tools, not optional extras. You're not extra for needing self-care. So they are not optional, okay? So thank you so much. And yeah, who's up next?
Awesome, Nicole. I definitely have to check out that sleep video. I'm really excited to do that after the seminar.
It's
And
great.
appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank
Up
you.
next, we have Jessie Spain from Pain and Horse Recovery.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, my name's Jesse Spain, and just kind of gonna go on a wing it here for a minute because that's how I really work best. So check it out. I got clean November 11th, 2010, 9 days after my oldest daughter got clean. And so we had to deal with Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's all with like, less than, 60 days, 90 days clean. And that first one, that Thanksgiving was really hard because I don't know about anybody else, but I'm sure somebody can relate to this somewhere out there that holidays suck. They remind me of some of the worst times I've ever experienced in my life as an addict because it was always chaos. There was a lot of drug use, there was a lot of alcohol use. People were getting in fights, they were arguing, nothing was good enough. Everybody had expectations that were just like completely unrealistic in all kinds of areas. And it was just a very unpleasant time. And so I try to avoid them. That's my number one coping skill. I don't do holidays. I don't do Christmas. I don't do Thanksgiving. I don't do New Year's. What I do instead is I be of service because I know for myself that when I'm of service and I'm helping other people, that's the cure to the selfishness and the self-centeredness and the self-obsession that I suffer from as a recovering addict. And so I always tell my people, take every opportunity you possibly can and find a way to be of service to someone, to your community, to the recovery community, even to your family. If you have to go with your family, like, okay, I'm doing the dishes, I'm helping people plate their food, I'm giving it to grandma, I'm doing whatever. I'm doing whatever I can to be of service and to keep my mind occupied a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And so and that's a really important thing, is being of service, because I'll tell you what, relationships, especially family relationships, can be terribly painful, very complex, very difficult to navigate, especially in early recovery, because a lot of times there's a lot of really unrealistic expectations that I have, that people have. And I know that unrealistic expectations is a setup for people, myself, to get angry and resentful. And I know I can fall into that real quick. I have a lot of fears when it comes around holidays. I have a lot of fears when it comes to being around people that I'm not really comfortable with, because you know, um, I'm insecure. I'm neurotic. I'm sometimes my own worst enemy. And so I have to find a way to be of service. So that first year, me and my daughter, we went to 4 different meetings, and we ended up at the URS club in Portland, and we stayed there for like 4 hours. We just hung out with other people. It was meeting after meeting after meeting. And so in our smaller community, like Roseburg, we have a few marathon meetings. They're going on most of the day. I know there will be one at the Hole, probably every hour on the hour for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure. Painted Horse, we're going to open up at noon. We're going to close at 10 o'clock at night. People are welcome to come there, hang out. We have a pool table, video games. We got a couple little lounge areas where you can watch TV, probably be a football game on, an area where you can take a nap. We'll have meetings, we'll have food. It'll be a great time. It's a safe place for people to come and be with other people who are, clean and sober. So with that, mind, body, and spirit, talking about that stuff, you know, recovery to me, sobriety, recovery is it's a ceremony. It's a ceremony that I get to participate in every single day. And so when I honor my sobriety as a ceremony, like I try not to use profanity. I try not to talk about others or myself in a bad way. I try to be helpful. I try to be loving and kind and patient and compassionate and forgiving and acceptance, because it's a ceremony. My sobriety is a ceremony. When I started treating it like that, there was a shift in the way that I perceived myself and the world around me. And a lot of healing took place at that time when I started treating it like a ceremony. And so some of those things, it's really important for me to breathe. Mike talked about that, the little breathing part. It's okay to pray once in a while. An elder once told me, um, take every opportunity to pray. There's always time to pray. You can always pray. Um, in most holidays, like everything's inside, like Mike said too, like just go outside once in a while. It's okay. If you vape, if you smoke, go outside. If you just want to go outside and just kind of take a mindful practice of like watching the trees. I was listening to an elder speak this morning, and he was talking about, even when it's not windy, if you take a moment and you look at the trees are dancing for us. They're moving. The trees are always moving. They're always breathing. They're always talking. And so if you can like focus on that for a minute and take that, a little bit of mindful meditation and just look at the things that are all around you, the beauty that everything is in beauty, right? We walk in beauty. And we don't just walk on the earth, like we are a part of that earth. We're a part of everything around us. We're connected. We're interconnected to all those things. And so, that wellness for us means more than just being clean and sober. It's about finding that balance spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And if I can put work into each one of those little quadrants, those little pieces, that's where I'm going to be able to find some balance. And let's see if I can get this. Okay. Reconnecting with purpose and spirit. A lot of people talked about gratitude. I'll tell you what, gratitude is the most powerful weapon I have in my little recovery toolbox. Whenever I start to get, some self-pity or some woes me, I automatically go back to gratitude and think about the most simple things I'm grateful for. And the first one is always like, you know what, no matter what kind of day it is, no matter what kind of things are going on around me, I'm clean and sober. So let's start there. I'm clean and sober. I don't have to drink. And I was thinking about when Mike was talking, he was talking about, like what do you say when somebody offers you a drink? Um, I'm pretty clear about it. I say, hey, you probably don't want me to drink because I'll probably be smoking crack by the end of the night. And usually people start laughing and, it's kind of funny because they know, like, hey, don't give that guy alcohol. And it's weird because alcohol is really the only substance that you have to like kind of plan around, like, okay, like make excuses of why you don't drink. Is that's crazy to me. It's the only one where you have to like have a reason why you're not drinking around other people who are drinking. They always want to know, well, why don't you drink? Why aren't you drinking? They don't ask that about us.
Jesse, we can't hear you at the moment. I'm not sure if it's the connection.
Probably the connection. His screen is frozen as well.
All right, we will give it a few seconds.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh no, I think we lost them.
All right, we will just wait a few moments.
You might as well go ahead and move on to the next one in case it's a connection issue.
We can wait. It's fine. Just kidding.
No, now you got to go longer. Do
All
some deep
right.
breathing.
Bethany, we'll go ahead and get started with your presentation, and
Okay.
then we can touch base with Jesse if he
If he
comes
gets
back.
back on. Okay. Well, unlike Jesse, I am not good at just winging it. So I have notes. So let me get. Okay. Can you see my screen okay?
So festive. It looks great.
Okay, and that's what I was like, mine is totally different than your guys' presentations. So, okay, thank you everybody so much for being here. My name is Bethany. I work with Adapt. Um, the holidays often promise warmth, connection, and joy. Yet, for many of us in recovery, for those who have lost loved ones, or or are distanced from their family, the season can carry a much heavier weight. It can awaken grief not only for people we've lost, but for the lives we imagined we'd have before addiction and trauma. Our loss it can awaken grief not only for people we've lost, but for the lives we imagined we'd have before addiction, trauma, or loss changed our path. But alongside that grief, there's also hope, the quiet realization that healing and meaning are still possible, even when life looks different than we once expected. Today, I want to explore how we can stay grounded in recovery through the holidays by looking at three areas: coping with grief, loss, and complex family dynamics, supporting loved ones in recovery, and balancing recovery in the workplace. Each of these connects to one truth: that grief and hope can coexist. And when we nurture both, we grow stronger in our recovery. Each of these, oh, 1 second. Grief, hope, and family dynamics. Grief is not just about losing someone we love. It can also be about losing the version of life we thought we'd have. Many people in recovery grieve missed years, damaged relationships, or lost opportunities. And during the holidays, these feelings can resurface. It's natural to look at others celebrating with family and wonder, why can't it be that easy for me? But here's the truth: grief and hope can share the same space. You can mourn what was lost and still build something beautiful out of what remains. Oh, hold on. One way to bridge that space is between grief and hope is through healthy, intentional coping. Attend a community gathering or volunteer, not to fill the void, but to connect with purpose. Create new rituals, lighting a candle, writing a gratitude letter, visiting a recovery meeting that honor both your losses and your growth. Surround yourself with chosen family, the people who truly understand your journey. When family gatherings stir old pain, remember boundaries are a form of self love. It's okay to step away from what's harmful and move towards what's healing. Self-compassion is also essential. Healing doesn't erase the past, but it transforms how we hold it. When we practice acceptance, we make space for hope. Hope that we can still create meaning, still experience joy, and still find peace, even if the path looks different than we once imagined. Supporting loved ones in recovery. For family members and friends, the holidays can be both heartwarming and hard. You might want to help someone in recovery, but feel unsure how to do it without enabling or overstepping. Support without enabling. Support begins with respecting autonomy. Offer encouragement, not control. Ask open-ended questions like, how can I support your recovery during the holidays, rather than assuming what they need. Respect their boundaries, whether that means skipping a party with alcohol, bringing a sober friend, or needing quiet time. These choices are not rejection, they are resilience. Empathy, dialogue, and connection. Empathy opens the door to hope. Empathy is powerful. When we approach loved ones with curiosity instead of judgment, we rebuild trust. Open, honest dialogue can heal old family wounds and create space for new beginnings. And for those grieving the life they once shared with a loved one in addiction, hope can look like learning to love the person and yourself differently. Healing may not mean going back to the old relationship, but growing into a much healthier one. Community and accountability. Encourage community connections, whether it's recovery meetings, faith gatherings, or volunteering together. Acts of service can be powerful. When we give back, we reconnect with the hopeful parts of ourselves. Families can also seek their own healing through support groups like Al-Anon or family therapy, finding hope and shared understanding. Work can bring its own set of pressures during the holidays, especially when social events often revolve around alcohol or late night celebrations. Staying grounded here means balancing professionalism with authenticity. Handling social and alcohol-centered events. You might face invitations to holiday parties or networking events where alcohol is central. It's perfectly acceptable to bring your own non-alcoholic drink, have an exit plan if you feel uncomfortable, or politely decline the invitation altogether. If you choose to attend, arrive early and leave early. Focus on conversations, not consumption. Most people won't even notice what's in your glass. What they'll remember is the presence and your professionalism. Advocating for sober, friendly environments. Most workplaces are becoming aware of inclusivity in social settings. If you feel comfortable, advocate for sober, friendly options like mocktails, coffee meetups, or daytime gatherings. You might be surprised how many colleagues appreciate the change. Balancing professional image with recovery boundaries. Some of us hesitate to set boundaries at work for fear of appearing difficult or different, but maintaining recovery is part of being a responsible professional. Authenticity doesn't mean sharing everything. It means being honest enough with yourself to act in alignment with your values. Protect your energy, prioritize rest, and take breaks when needed. Holding grief and hope together. The holidays have a way of amplifying whatever we carry. love, loneliness, joy, grief. But staying grounded in recovery means remembering that these emotions can coexist. Grief doesn't cancel hope, it deepens it. We may grieve what could have been, yet still find gratitude for what is. The connections we've built, the healings we've chosen, the courage it takes to stay present each day. So, as the season unfolds, let's choose to hold grief gently and to let hope have a seat beside it. Let's nurture compassion for ourselves, empathy for others, and trust on the ongoing work of recovery. Because even when life looks different than we imagined, it can still be whole, it can still be meaningful, and it can still be beautiful. The end.
Thank you, Bethany. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate you and enjoyed all those tips. Jesse, welcome back. Would you like to share closing thoughts on your presentation?
I guess clothing's thoughts would be don't do anything that you're uncomfortable with. You don't owe anybody anything other than yourself. And I put in the chat NANA247.org. That is a 24-hour-a-day marathon meeting that goes every single day of the year, and it's a really good meeting. So
Oh.
NANA247.org.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the resource. Again, thank you all for being here tonight. We're gonna open up the Q&A portion. So if y'all have any questions, feel free to put it in the Q&A portion in Zoom. If you're on Facebook Live, feel free to comment. And we will be happy to answer them. Alrighty, we will give a couple few more moments to see if we have any questions. We have someone from our audience saying, thank you for the tips and excellent presentations. Thank you for joining. Alrighty, if we have no questions tonight, again, thank you so much for being here on this very important topic. If you have any future ideas, collaborations, topics you're interested in learning more about, feel free to let us know. And we hope to see you next time. Have a great night and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody.